Women get the ick when men talk to them like this. So when I mention the word ick, by the way, guys, I just want you to know like 90% of the things that women say are icks are just like, you should ignore them, okay? In fact, caring about icks a lot as a guy is not that attractive. You shouldn't really care what women are saying are icks. This is something that women don't really say is an ick, but it's definitely something that turns them off, and you will actually lose and kill attraction by doing this repeatedly. Okay, so stick with me because I'm going to give examples about guys actually doing this. It's day-to-day meaningless conversations. The more people are texting on their phone, talking about nothing, in the beginning of the dating process, that is typically not going to lead to more attraction. And here's what I mean by this. When women want an emotional connection with a guy, you see them say this all the time, I want an emotional connection. Women get that through talking. So it's important to have in a relationship. However, it is not good to have at the beginning of the dating process. A lot of women say they want connection at the beginning of the dating process, but what they respond to is they respond to who they're attracted to. And that's the cold hard truth. I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but all the women who are telling you like, oh, this is the stuff that matters, they're always talking about a guy who they're already really attracted to, who they wish did these things to them. So they really wish the guy that they're attracted to, would talk to them more, would emotionally connect with them more. So if you already are getting tons of attraction from the women that you really, really want, and all you need to do is talk to them more, then talk to them more, okay? But everybody watching this video, that's probably not your issue. What your issue is you start talking to them a lot and they disappear, which is what most guys' experience is. In this, you want to understand that talking to them day to day about meaningless stuff, that can actually kill attraction at the beginning. She doesn't want to know or need to know all of that stuff. If you build up to that later on, that's the appropriate way of doing it, okay? I'm a guy who built a lot of attraction through talking, but it wasn't through a lot of talking day to day about nothing. It was getting to the point. When you're doing this, I don't want you to be texting back and forth. Like, I'll give you an example about when I saw this. I had a client who I was talking today, and they were talking about like all their favorite shows, like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and stuff like that. Great shows, by the way. He was excited to talk to this woman about it, and then he was texting her back and forth. That kind of conversation where they were having day to day, and it would be like 3 or 4 lines, and then she would respond with 3 to 4 lines, and then, it would go back and forth a few times a day. And they did that for an entire week. Never made a move to ask her out, never made a move to take it to the next level. It was always talking about this issue, relating to her point, and, all that stuff. Believe it or not, being a good listener and talking to her about this and engaging with this all the time doesn't actually make you more attractive. Because deep down inside, the woman's thinking like, doesn't he have anything better to do than be back and forth talking about like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad to a girl he just met at a party? In her head, she's subtly thinking that. Women like a guy who's a little bit mysterious. Women like a guy who doesn't always give everything out right off the bat. And if you're a guy who can sit around your phone all day and talk about Breaking Bad with somebody random that you just met, then probably you're not doing a whole lot of really important shit. And that's what women want to think you're doing. Women say they want to be the number one priority in their life, but when you actually look at their behavior, they don't respond to the men that treat them as the number one priority. The men who do treat them as the number one priority, those are the guys who get friend zoned, or they say, oh, I just didn't feel the spark, but I'd really like to be friends, that kind of thing. They love the attention they're getting, but they're not attracted to the guy who's giving them that attention. They want to feel something more, okay? They want to feel that really strong bit of attraction towards. Day-to-day conversations, if you talk to them like this, where you have serious and engaging talks, those kinds of behaviors actually decrease the amount of attraction you have. She wants to have those conversations after she's already built up that attraction with you, but not before. Just because you've been talking to a woman a lot doesn't necessarily mean she's going to lose attraction for you. But if it's not heading anywhere, I can guarantee you that's what's going to happen. It might not happen right away, but it'll start to happen slowly but surely. Even if she was the one who showed a lot of interest with you at first, even if she was the one that initiated a lot of the conversating, even if she was the one who did that, it still ends up in the same place. You want to minimize that amount of conversation and actually lead it to a conversation in real life. So that's what I tend to do. Typically, guys who communicate with very concise language, they don't have any fluff in there. Most of the time when I see a guy do this, he'll usually send like a paragraph to her, like a long one like this. Like the phone's this big and he sends her a paragraph like that. That's too long. You at least want to split it up and then probably take out about 70 to 80% of that. But she does need to know that you want to see her, and she does need to know that you're asking around. So you put those pieces of information in, and I would split them up into 2 separate blocks. So that's the way that women want you to communicate. And when you don't, when you're just talking about nothing and you're going back and forth and you're having these long blocks of text, it could be very serious topics. It could be very engaging, but eventually it's going to push her away. So you want to keep that stuff and save it for later. There's no reason to be going back and forth and talking about nonsense all day, every day. On a dating app, if you meet, you want to text back and forth, maybe you can have some flirting going, and then you're going to escalate to a date within a few days, okay? Probably like 5 days or something like that, if I want to put an average on it. If you're talking about the appropriate amount of time that I usually go about it. You can build it up quicker if you want to. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if you're not talking as much, but that's what you want to do, okay? But meaningless conversations day to day, that will assuredly kill attraction. It will give her the ick. It will kill the mystery. It will kill a lot of the things that women want to admire about a guy. They want to wonder what you're doing. They want to know that you're doing things that are more important than just them because they're coming into a relationship with you. And if they're the most important thing, they're not gaining anything from that relationship. Cool. If you guys have any questions about this, about like what kinds of conversations are the ones that typically lead to loss of attraction, happy to answer in the comment section below if I have time. If you want more help from me, or if you want to take a look at some other resources associated with this, I recommend you join the school group down below. You have tons of members in there who are getting a lot of value. And if you want to work with me personally, there's a link down below for that as well too. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there.